Hi guys, it's ASBYT. Happy New Year to each and every one of you. And because we are starting a brand new year, let's start with a brand new smartphone, which might possibly be one of the best budget smartphones around at the moment. We'll do a quick unboxing and then my first impressions review. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. Right, first before we jump into it, apologies because as you can probably tell, I'm pretty sick. I feel horrific, but I'm going to battle on because you guys are craving the content and hopefully I'll be better for CES, which I am going to. I'm going for the week. So let me know in the comment section below what you want me to actually cover while I'm there. But enough of that, let's see what's inside here. So on the table here, we have the Elephone A5. We have it in the starry blue colour. Now, if you don't know about Elephone, they are a Chinese brand who have, over the last couple of years, produced some pretty decent products for a very cheap price. There are a few manufacturers that do this, the likes of Umidigi, Doogee, etc. But Elephone, like I said, have made a name for doing that as well. We'll just run down some of the specs. A 6.18 inch Full HD Plus display, 18 by 7 by 9. It is running with Android 8.1. They do promise to update that to Android 9 soon. You do have to take that from these manufacturers with a pinch of salt because often they'll move on to the next device and it won't get updated, but it might do. And still, Android 8 is still a great operating system. It's got a 4000 mAh battery capacity, very, very impressive. The same that you'll see in the Samsung Note 9 and the Pocophone F1, for example. Larger than the OnePlus 6T. This variant that I've got has got 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage, and it is running with the Helio P60, so it's got a MediaTek MT6771 CPU, and that Helio P60 is a sort of direct competitor to Qualcomm's Snapdragon 600 series, which has been their sort of main mid-range set of SoCs. So it's not going to be top of the range performance, but it's certainly going to be a pretty good mid-range product, but you're getting it at a budget price. And remember guys, keep expecting and be surprised. I do love the slogans of some of these manufacturers. Keep it up. It always makes me chuckle. So, my voice sounds horrible today. I know it usually sounds bad, but it's specifically bad today. Right, so let's get it unboxed. So inside we have, I just knocked my little man out. Sorry about that, mini-me. Inside we have the actual smartphone, which we'll get to. Also, we have our quick start guide. Beautiful. Does it have English? It does have English. Thank you, Elephone. That's impressive. In fact, it is solely in English. We also have in here a case, just completely clear, silicone, dead easy, just whack it on your phone. We also have our SIM ejector tool here, our plug, our charging cable, which is Type-C. Right, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty, the juicy-woosy, we've said that again. The product, the device, the smartphone. Moment of truth. And straight away, you are going to notice, in fact, let's just carry on. Let's take the rest of this off. Look at that. That is absolutely stunning. Truly stunning. I'm not going to lie. This is probably one of the best looking backs to a phone I've seen in a long time. Yes, clearly they've taken inspiration from Huawei and Huawei sub-brand Honor in the way they do things in this sort of gradiented back. But they've done it very, very well. It just sort of shifts from purple to blue. As it catches the light, as you can see, there is just this lovely shimmer to it. Really impressed. You'll also notice on the back we have a triple camera setup, and this camera like I said, I'm pretty sick. And this camera setup consists of a 12 megapixel, a 5 megapixel, and a 0.3 megapixel set of sensors. We have a sort of dual two main sensor setup, with the third a bit separate, something we've seen very much with the Huawei and Honor phones again. The LED flash underneath that, and then we just have Elephone, designed by Elephone, assembled in China, and the Elephone logo, of course, there as well. Also around the phone, we have the Type-C charging port, we have the speaker grill there, we have a headphone jack, which I know is incredibly popular still with a lot of people. The volume up and down rocker on the right hand side, the power button, and our fingerprint sensor, which is there to be used either with your thumb if you're right-handed or your middle finger if you're left-handed, which I've got a juicy little plaster on. Right, so the final part of the unboxing is most people's favourite, and it's actually now just stuck to me. So I'll just carry on doing the video with this here. Won't get off. Now, the actual premium feel in the hand is really right up there. It reminds me, actually, from the back, fingerprint magnet, obviously, but you know that with a glossy phone. Like I said, from the back, it reminds me of the Huawei and Honor phones. And from the front, it obviously looks very much like the iPhone XS and XS Max. Obviously, a slightly larger chin than that. But outside of that, it's very, very similar. So all in all, in terms of the feel in the hand, the build quality, how premium it is, again, they've done a decent job. So it does also come with a screen protector on here as well. There are some changes to the actual icons, but on the whole, it is pretty much stock Android. Not really any bloatware as such, so again, a very, very good thing. The screen is pretty bright, as you can see. Now, you will notice something that might turn people off is, of course, it does have the notch, but for £150, I think you could probably let that slide. For £150 as well, it does feel pretty snappy. As you can see, I'm not really getting too many problems. You know, it's not going to be as snappy as a Snapdragon 845, for example, but you are still going to get pretty decent performance here. Without testing it in more detail, I can't really say in terms of glitches or anything like that, but overall first impressions are pretty good. So I'm going to quickly test the speakers. Hi guys, it's HBOT and welcome back to a brand new video. Now, of course, Apple very recently released their brand new MacBook Air. Due to their pricing scheme, people will always look for something similar but a lot cheaper, and that Air. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. I mean, what do you expect for 150 quid? It's not going to set the world alight. I'd say this, speakers on smartphones, for me, there aren't really too many differences unless you go to stereo speakers or front-firing speakers, them sort of things, which you get more with like the Samsung Note 9, the Google Pixel 3, for example, then you're going to get pretty similar performance across the board until you get to some that are horrific. And this certainly isn't horrific. So now I'm just going to quickly test the camera. And on here, we do have the likes of video, pan, picture, stereo, mono, and advanced as well. Doesn't seem to be a portrait mode. Might come with a software update, you never know, but again, I doubt it. Just see if we have a portrait mode on the front-facing camera. No, again, we don't, but again, we'll try it. Yeah, so I mean, the one main downside to this phone will probably be the camera. Even though it's got a triple camera setup, it's kind of a bit of a marketing gimmick for me. I don't think you're really gonna get much point in having 3 lenses. It's not horrific, as you can see. I mean, the actual face is horrific because I'm like death today, but the actual photo quality isn't horrible, it's just not great. And it has autofocus issues as well on that rear camera. Often it sort of pulses trying to find stuff, so again, not ideal. Let's just quickly test that fingerprint sensor now. So it's pretty quick, it's pretty reliable. I actually really like having the fingerprint sensor on the thumb section. I don't know why more manufacturers don't do this. I think Razer do it, and there's a couple of others as well. And honestly, I think it works really, really well. It's the natural position of where you want to sort of, where you really want to put your hand. And like I said, I think it's they've done a good job with that one. So now I'm going to do a quick benchmark test, and you'll get an idea again of this Helio P60 performance. And again, pretty much to sum up where we're up to with this phone, those benchmarks kind of back up what we're saying. For the price, the performance you're going to be getting, it is good. It's not top of the range, but it's going to give you really pretty decent performance, whether you're scrolling, using the internet, browsing, light gaming. It's going to handle it across the board kind of really well. Now, the one main problem that I think outside of the camera with this phone is the fact that Elephone are directly competing with the likes of Honor and Pocophone and those sort of companies that for an extra sort of £50, £100, you can get that top of the range sort of flagship almost performance in terms of the SoC that they use. And that would be my only real concern. And for you guys out there that are desperate for that SoC, the Snapdragon 845 for example, then that would be the only main reason why I'd say don't get this phone, but you'd have to pay an extra £50, £100 more. If you don't want to spend that sort of money and you want to keep it with under £200, £150 even, then I can't really not recommend this phone, in first impressions, obviously. So this is where you guys come in. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of the Elephone A5. Is it something you're interested in? Are you gonna go out and buy it? Is there something for £150 or less that you think is actually better? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like and share if you did enjoy this video and found it helpful. Subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you're new to the channel and want to be notified every time I post a video on anything tech, pretty much daily content here on YouTube. I love you and leave you. I'll see you in the next one. And hopefully I'll be a little bit better in the next video and won't look like an absolute ghoul. So, peace out.